God says, you know, you want to, that's your choice. I took you out of Egypt. I took you for a special purpose. You don't like my special purpose. You don't want to be like that. You want to be like the rest of the world? Good. Fine. This is your choice. Very, very, I don't know what the correct, it's very pungent, the way the Navi puts it. I mean, he really leaves no room to squirm off the hook. And here the Navi makes such a statement, you know, that it's frightening in its import, because he's the first Navi that does it. The Navi says there's a difference between a Jewish state and a Jewish government and the Jewish people. He said the Jewish people will survive. There's no guarantee any Jewish state will survive. There's no guarantee any Jewish government will survive. None. You don't behave yourself, goodbye. Hashem Elokim b'mamlocha hachato. What a phrase. God's eyes, kaviyochel. God will turn. You know, the phrase God's eyes always means, you know, when God looks at you, we would rather see that he doesn't look at you, right? It's like getting your file pulled at the IRS. You know, you'd rather, if they send you a notice that you owe them $2.50, you pay the $2.50. You don't ask them, you know, why. You don't ask for a $10 refund. You know, just let it go. And that's the awesomeness of Yom HaNoroim as it's recorded in the Mahzor and as recorded in the prayers of Rosh Hashanah and Yom HaKippurim is Kavakoras Roa Edro Mavir Tzono Tachashifto, that everybody has to walk by singly. You know what Jim Baker said about the IRS? You know, he's $13 million short. $13 million is missing from there. And the government, the IRS, is looking for it. So Baker said, you know, the devil got in their computer, he said. So here the phrase, Eine Hashem Elokim, is that God's eyes are on you. Okay, God is looking at you. B'mamlocha hachato, that's the 10 northern tribes. In that sinful government, that government that stands against everything that is Jewish. V'shmadati osom al pnei adoma, I will destroy it from the face of the earth, it will never rise again. But that's not the end of the Jewish people. Ephes, however. The word Ephes is also a great word in Hebrew. Ephes means however. Ephes means zero. It means all of that here. Kilo hashmeid ashmidas beis Yaakov num Hashem. The Jewish people will not be destroyed. The Jewish government will be destroyed. Oh yeah. The Jewish state will be destroyed. The country, everything, all of that's going to happen, but not the Jewish people. So, as the Talmud says, you know, it's good news and good news, right? The Gemara always does that. The Gemara sees it, because in everything that the Navi says is always the combination of good news and bad news, which is true of life generally. There's very rarely anything in life that's good. If you listen to the economic reports, no matter which way the report comes out, you know, it's good for it and it's bad. It's good for this, it's bad for that. And it's that way in most of life. So, the Gemara says, for instance, that your children will ask you, Mo avoda zos lachem, what is Pesach about? So the Gemara says, bad news. You got a whole generation of Jews that doesn't know what Pesach's about. It's good news, because somebody's going to ask at least, what is Pesach about? So here also, it's bad news and good news. The bad news is that the government's going to be destroyed. The Jewish political entity is going to be brought under. But the good news is that the Jewish people will not be brought under. The Jewish people will survive. How will this work? The Navi said, well, how can it be that there'll be a Jewish people and there won't be a Jewish nation? There won't be a Jewish government? To us, it's no question, because after being almost 2,000 years in exile, we have, so to speak, become accustomed. We can understand how such a thing could happen. But here he's standing before the Jewish people ever went to exile. So they said, well, how can that be? So God says simply, Ki hine anochi mitzaveh, I will command. V'aniosi b'chol hagoyim as Beis Yisrael. Haniosi means I will shove through. I'll make them move. I will force them to move amongst all the nations of the world. The Jewish people will move among all the nations of the world. They will be wanderers. They will find no permanence. Kasher yinoa bakvora.